Hello, this is Professor Grant Thrall. We are back for part 2 of Ceteris Paribus. That includes holding geography constant as well. In the previous video, we've looked at 1, the geographic container for data. Are you analyzing the container or are you analyzing the phenomena? We've looked at, in the previous video, how do I hold geography constant? Now that we know what we want to do, how do we go about creating those geographic containers? That is the subject of this video. How do I create my own, which are superfluous? Save. So here we have it, the county name, sort decreasing. So here's Shelby County, and the FIPS code is 47,157. 47 is the FIPS code for the state of Tennessee. That's the, and 157 is for the county Shelby, and the complete FIPS code then is 47,157. And a lot of the cells don't have any 47,157 because they were not there, were not located inside or touching Shelby County. So with that, I can go into selection, select by condition, and my field list is, I'm going to select name, and my operator list will be equal to, and my values of name, all I need to do is just click Shelby County. What we have then is that these cells, which are highlighted in green, touch or overlay the Shelby County. Tools, export Shelby County 3x3. I'll export it as a standard geographic file, and the layer, when I bring it in, will be called Shelby County 3x3. I want to export it as a layer to the, and when it's done, it's going to be added as a layer to the map. Now at this point here, this is really handy. Export as centroid points. Instead of exporting the area, say I had a property assessment polygon file, property boundary file, those boundary files can be really big. And if I don't need that level of geographic accuracy, this would be the place where I would save the data file as a point file as opposed to a polygon file. Points, you can operate on points a lot faster. Okay, and now I need to give it another name, Shelby County 3x3 version 2. Save. Turn off the other one, and 3x3 grid, and now we can see that what I have left are only those cells that overlap or touch the Shelby County boundary. I will change the order of the draw, and now we have the Shelby County boundary drawn on top of those 3x3 bar grid. Here then is a different decision that we need to consider. Now, a lot of my students, they're not going to be actual geospatial programmers, and they won't be operating the Geographic Information System software. But nevertheless, it's important for them to understand what is involved in these variety of steps so that they can analyze the analyst, so they can decipher the reports that they receive. So a higher level manager needs to be able to evaluate what type of report and the veracity of that report that they are receiving from their analysts. So here I have then these two layers, and I'm going to make my Shelby County grid my working layer, and let's look at what's inside of it. Really nothing. I mean, it doesn't have any data whatsoever. So let's add some data. Let's populate the grid cells with something of value here. And how about doing an overlay? So I click on the button overlay. I will overlay it with my census tract. I will overlay it with my census tracts. And here's my census tract layer. Again, band size, I'll say 50 feet, dealing with smaller objects here. And I go into attributes, and I only want to count, let's say, a representative field. So I'm going to click on clear, so it's not going to produce any operation. And now I will find some handy data. There's a myriad of data that we have in here. But let's look at automobile consumption. So here we'll have no automobiles, one vehicle, two vehicle, three or more vehicles, and that should be enough. And we'll call this by yet again another name, Shelby Grid version 3. Save. Make my new grid my work. Now that I've performed my overlay, I open up my data view, and this tells me what my count is per cell that I just calculated. I want to save this, so I will export this yet again as a standard geographic file, and I'll call this Shelby County Grid version 3. I want to add the layer to the map once I have saved it. Name it here, Shelby County version 3, and I want that to be grid. Alright, make this the working layer. Let's check with the data view, and my data view has a number of households with 3 units, 3 vehicles, 2 vehicles, 1 vehicle. Let's do a choropleth map of that. Let's visualize our data. So click on field, where are the households that have 3 or more vehicles? And I'll treat zeros as missing values, and I'll have equal size intervals. And I don't want to have more than, I normally don't like to have more than about 5. And let's go from a rampant, from a light beige to a dark red. Let's reorder the draw. Make Shelby County grid the working layer, and I will make this into a thinner boundary and perhaps make it black. So the households that have 3 or more cars tend to be out in the suburbs. In fact, I can make this even more noticeable. Go into my styles, look at my thematic map, and say that I want to look at the extreme values. I will change the style to be none, to be hollow. And so I want to see where the extreme measurements are. Have my eyes pulled to. So those households that have the highest propensity for having 3 or more cars, and let's do another thematic map where I will use a formula. And I want to, now since I am holding my geography constant, I want to have people that have 2 vehicles, and also 3 or more vehicles. So we're dealing with 2 or more vehicles. And we'll call this 2 or more cars. And that's where the households are with 2 or more cars. And let's zoom in on it. So if you're in the walk-in environment of Memphis, you don't need 2 or more cars. If you're in a walk-in environment of most cities, you know, if you're walking, like for example, when I am lecturing at University of Memphis, I am resident right across the street from the College of Business, so all I just need to do is walk across the street. So I don't need a vehicle, and that saves me time, and that also saves me a lot of dollars. In what my colleague Stephanie Rodicus and I have shown is that the more automobiles people have, the greater has been the likelihood of them engaging in a mortgage failure.